is suing Mr. King, who's the employer of an employee who did something to the plaintiff, right? And then we're gonna hear what this is all about in a second. All right, is the plaintiff ready to proceed?
I think so.
Yes, Your Honor. Is the defense ready to proceed?
Yes,
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let's have the opening statement from the plaintiff first, please.
Good morning, Your Honor.
No, up the podium.
Oh, sorry, I didn't even.
So, lawyers, first thing you say, Faith,
Your Honor,
is?
may I inquire?
Very good. Always start off, every time you go up to the podium, the first thing you do is you look at me and say, Your Honor, may I inquire?
All right. Your Honor, may I inquire?
Yes, you may.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Lou Sirs, and I represent the plaintiff in this case, Mr. Miles Upshur. We are here today to seek compensation from Mr. Upshur for injuries he suffered while at the local SWAT on August 15, 2018. In the course of this trial, I will prove that Miles is the victim of an assault by the defendant in this case, Mr. King. While watching Cowboy Bebop the movie, he will describe what he saw and did prior to and during the assault. Miles will take the witness stand and tell you about his mental state and injuries sustained that evening and before and after the attack. I will provide evidence that will verify the extent of his injuries, both physical and mental. He will tell you about the treatment he has received since the incident. I hope that you will listen to the testimony of these witnesses carefully in an effort to make a fair decision. Thank you for your cooperation.
All right, thank you. You can be seated, Counselor. Just give me 1 second.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So I just need to clarify one thing, okay, for the jury. So you're claiming that it was Mr. Usher
Yes, but it
that
was.
allegedly injured
Yes.
your client? Okay. All right, let's have the opening statement from the defense.
Just give one, like, we have to switch jobs, so I give you a directions on how to write this.
Okay, go ahead. Shut. That's gonna be on Monday. They weren't copied yet, thanks.
Okay, fine.
Quiet, yes, you may.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Nicholas Dickerson. Me and my partner, Tyler I can't say
Just say
his last name.
Tyler.
Tyler, are presenting the defendant, Mr. King, who is being sued or negligent by the defendant, Mr. King, for what his own employees did to him. However, Mr. King could not be responsible for any of this. Anyway,
Okay.
so sorry, a little nervous.
No, take your time. Take your time. This is always a nervous thing.
He states that he would not be responsible for any injuries like this.
Well, go ahead and look at the paper as you read it. Just focus on the paper.
He states that Mr. King Food Theater is not responsible for any responsibility for any damages or for his guests. So I ask of you to please forgive this man. Thank you.
Thank you. Just give me 1 second. All right, let's have the plaintiff's witness called to the stand. Repeat after me, Your Honor. At this time, I'd like to call
I'd like to call.
Mr. Upshur to the stand.
raise your right hand. Raise your right hand. Swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I swear to tell the truth and nothing but the whole truth.
All right, thank you.
Do I stand at the podium?
You go to the podium.
Your Honor, may I inquire?
Yes, you may.
Alright, please state your name for the court.
My name is Miles Upshur.
How old are you?
I'm 31.
Where do you live?
I live on 682 Robert Lane in Southampton, New York.
Are you married, Mr. Upshur?
Yes, for 7 years.
Do you have any children?
Yes, a daughter.
Hi, buddy, how are the kids?
Hold on a second. What was it? You have a daughter?
Yes.
Okay, and then what was your response?
I said, hi, buddy, how are the kids? I apologize. I know
It's
the two of us.
all right.
Please
Go
don't
ahead.
take me down for contempt of court.
Not yet.
Do you have an occupation?
Yes,
What is that occupation?
I'm a freelance investigative journalist.
Alright. Are you familiar with the defendant in this case?
No,
How long have you known him?
ever since we filed this case.
Do you recall the event as it happened?
Yes, in full detail.
So what were you doing on the night of August 15, 2018?
Well, I was at King's Theater watching Cowboy Bebop with my good friend Joe Schmaghetti.
And what happened next?
Well, there was a commotion going on in the seats behind us. These two guys were cussing at each other and getting pretty nasty with one another.
And what happened next?
Well, things kind of calmed down between them, but next thing I know, this big usher comes running down the aisle and grabs me by the arm, dislocating my shoulder.
And did he say anything to you?
Yes, he shouted at me, "Let's go, buddy. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here."
Did you say anything in response to this?
I replied, "You got the wrong man, man."
And what happened after that?
Well, he then pulled me out of my chair, dragged me down the aisle, and threw me out of the theater onto the pavement.
How long were you in the hospital?
About a week.
What injuries did you sustain?
Dislocated shoulder.
And did any of these men working for the theater accompany you on your trip to the hospital?
Not at all.
Did you do anything to provoke this usher?
No, I was just watching the movie minding my own business.
How long did you have to wear a cast?
About a month.
Are you still unemployed?
Yes.
How long were you on leave for?
About a month.
That's
No
all.
further questions?
Oh, no further questions.
Okay, thank you. You can take a seat. Stay where you are. 1 second. All right, let's have cross-examination.
I forgot what cross-examination means, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, I forgot what cross-examination.
That's when you ask the other witness questions.
Him question.
Yes.
Oh, okay, very good.
Just take the podium. Do you have those questions with you?
No, I don't.
Okay, so you're just gonna wing it?
Hello, Mr. Upshur, how are you?
Hello, I'm very good, thank you.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Where are the cross-exam questions?
We don't have them.
You don't have, you never put them together. And that's why you never came up to see me with your cross-exam questions.
That's correct.
Alright, so you're gonna have to ad-lib it now, so go ahead, wing it. What do you wanna ask this person, because you're trying to prove that the movie theater is not guilty of any wrongdoings, right? So what do you wanna ask this alleged victim here?
Mr. Upshur, are you aware that the ushers in the theater are required to deal with any problem that they see fit?
Yes, but I wasn't the one causing the commotion.
Yes, but you refused to leave when he had asked you. Is that correct?
No.
That is not
He
correct.
dragged me out of the theater.
Correct, yeah,
By force, he grabbed me by the arm and forced me down the aisle. He only said to me, "Let's go, buddy. You don't have to go home if you can't stay here." He didn't even give me time to react.
Great. I have no further questions.
All right, you can be seated. I'll ask the witness to stay seated for a second. So, Mr. Upshur, you claimed in your opening, in your direct examination that you were in the theater on the night in question with a friend of yours.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Isn't it true that prior to attending the theater, you and your friend were at the local bar and grill, pounded down Heineken's? Isn't that true?
No, that is incorrect, ma'am.
And isn't it true that when you walked in, you smuggled in a bottle of beer and the ticket collector told you you needed to throw that out before entering the theater? Isn't that true?
That is true.
And isn't it also true that while you were sitting waiting for the movie to start, that you and your buddy were throwing M&Ms at people in front of you? Isn't that also true?
No, that is not
And
correct.
isn't it also true that when the usher asked you to leave, you got up on the chair and started pounding your chest and said, "Bring it on, buddy"? Isn't that true?
That is not
All right, I
true.
have no further questions at this time. All right, so, see, this is how you can spin it, right? None of that is real, but the jury doesn't know. It's up to them to convince them that none of this stuff actually happened, and don't agree with any of it, all right? So, you guys need to stick around after class, all right? So obviously, you don't wanna redirect, all right? So let me talk quickly about redirect. Each side has a chance to redirect. What that means is, let's say they did cross-examine Mr. Upshur
Yeah.
and really damaged his testimony. And Sam's sitting there sweating, going, "Oh my God." You'll have a chance to come up and redirect to do damage control, okay? They might have brought something up and you're like, "Oh my God, I have to address that." So it's optional. So the only time you really want to redirect is if you think it's absolutely necessary. If you think your witness did great, don't redirect.
Yeah, so
because
only if
once
they've
you
like completely taken you down, you need to
yeah,
redirect.
because once you redirect, then they can come back and recross.
Hmm.
And after they recross, that's it. There is no redirect. All right, so it's optional, it's strategy. At this point, there's no need for it. So you can step down. And let's have the defense call you witness. Honor at this time.
This time, I call Mr. King up to the stand.
Raise your right hand. You swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
What?
Just say hypothetically, just say yes. Do you swear to tell the whole truth?
Yes.
All right, be seated. I swear, every year I say I need to videotape this stuff, you know, and I don't. All right. Your Honor,
Your Honor, may I
and
inquire?
that you may.
Hello, Mr. King, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Mr. King, how old are you?
I am 42 years old.
Are you married?
I am.
Do you have any children?
I have 10 children.
You say that with a smile. I'm sure your wife's not smiling.
Oh.
All right, good.
What's your application?